Greetings, beautiful souls of light that you are. Thank you for joining me here once again. And I got my 100th subscriber recently, and I felt like, gosh, I gotta hurry up and do a video while it's still at exactly 100. It's just fun for me. Every single one of you out there watching this, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. We're on a journey together. I'm your tour guide, but 100% you all showing up as we connect our consciousness across time and space to one another, wherever you are, whenever you are. Grateful to have you here. So I have a lot of things I want to share with you all. So let's just start with this painting, because I thought I might have already shared it, but I realized I didn't. So this, you can see, is what's known as a Merkaba, which is two really tetrahedrons, but if you want to just look at it in a 2D dimension, we've got one triangle here and one triangle here. But if you have that in the three-dimensional with tetrahedrons, which is four sides, all triangles, it would be a three-dimensional shape called a Merkaba. And so this is a vision that I've had in dream space, in meditation, and the vision that I had was oriented this way, to where it was like hallways, like if you had a line here and it was like a rectangle. It's like infinite hallways almost. Perhaps the Akashic Records is structured like this, but really enjoy this painting, and I want to make more of them. And if anyone is ever looking for some custom art, like for example this work of art, but in potentially different colors, I have clay paint that is 100% natural. So if you're interested in any custom artwork, let me know. I am looking for donations at this point in time, and wanting to do artwork and custom artwork as part of how I support my ability to continue to do these videos and to continue to grow the Jump Gate Trust here at Seven Heaven. And that brings me to another exciting piece of news that I'm hoping continues to stay solid. As you know, I've said throughout the course of these videos, there's been a lot of things that I've wanted to do that just didn't pan out, and it's not the right time or whatnot, or I didn't know enough. Something like wanting to install a thunderstorm generator on one of my vehicles. It's just, I'm having to put that dream sort of on the back burner as I see certain reasons why it might be a challenge to do so. But one of the things that I'm hoping really is going to continue to happen is to have the first artist in residence here. And really this is sort of a jumping off point, transitioning this house from being a personal home to more of an educational facility is not the right word, a place where people can come and learn, whether it's about permaculture and the no-till method, or Malcolm Bendall's Plasmoid Unification Model that I'm going to go into later, or wanting to know how science and spirituality are being merged together now with things like Dan Winner's Planck Fire formula that shows this fractalic nature of the reality that we live in, and how on the microcosm and the macrocosm are essentially the same. And so anyway, so what's in the works now is for a friend of mine to come here and work with tensor ring technology. And tensor rings, even though I'm pretty much a novice at this point, it's basically copper wire of certain gauges, twisted a certain number of times, and then soldered together to form a ring. And my friend does these incredible sacred geometry formations with them. We're going to be doing some, if this continues to go forward and all moves forward, we'll do some fundraising to cover the expenses while he's here, food, water, electricity, those sorts of things, and that way we can host classes here to build tensor rings and learn about the technology. It's really like, seems to be an ancient technology actually. The principles embedded in tensor rings have to do with sacred numbers and forms and things like that. I really don't know that much about it. I know they're amazing. I've held them. I sat in it was like a meditation sphere made with 4 of them. And it was at a busy event, and it was incredible. You know, big tensor rings going around a chair, and it was this busy event. I was able to just go straight into a meditative state right there with all these people and noise around me. So that's very exciting. Hopefully by the end of September that might get jump started for him to stay here and help facilitate these classes. So more on that soon, but it would if this continues to you know, if this works, it really would be a jumping off point for this whole project to really expand and have people come to this space and be part of workshops. So I'm really excited about that. And so let's see. I'm going to share more about the Plasmoid Unification Model in a bit, going through that. Yes, okay. Just trying to remember everything I wanted to share with you all. So this is a graphic, this is a drawing that I did recently. And it was a while ago, I was teaching a friend the Pythagorean Theorem. And I thought to myself, how can I show this spatially? You know, we get the formula as kids, but I was wanting to show to him how it was spatially obvious. So the Pythagorean theorem, as you may already well know, is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So with this triangle, this being a and this being b. So if you know basically the height and the length of a triangle, you can use this formula to calculate the hypotenuse length, even if you know. So by drawing these squares, you can clearly see how this square here is basically double the triangle, right? And so is this one. And the area of this square that's made from this side is quite obviously double, or it's basically this square plus this square equals this square. And so by seeing it spatially, I'm hoping that this graphic makes it very clear to anyone, because when we're squaring something, that's equivalent to taking, you know, like a square, length and height, length and width, gosh. You multiply this side by this side to find the area of the square. So, you know, something squared could be, you could think of that as being like taking a line and then creating a square out of it. And then the area is going to be, well, anyway, I think you get what I'm saying. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that graphic with you. And, you know, to me, intuitively, as a learner, I think that having the spatial diagram and seeing something in a, you know, form, maybe even before learning the formula, is maybe a more helpful way to go about it. Just an idea, just a thought. So I know a lot of times in school and class we get taught these formulas, and it's like, well, how does this relate to the world we live in, to space, and how can we see these formulas in our mind's eye? So, let's see, I'm trying to think, okay, this, because I had so much I want to tell you. This is a pyramid device here, and I just plugged it in for you all. It's got this little light that you can turn on and off, but this is generating scalar energy, scalar force. The inventor Ken Rohla, I made a video that I did take down a few days after making it because I was a little bit upset. I found out that he was receiving death threats for a larger version of this that is a whole home energy generator that I actually had here at the property. and which disappeared during a series of events last winter that I'll avoid getting into. Let's just say that there was a portal opened and that certain objects went through that portal, and the whole home energy generator was one of the objects that went through that portal. And now, having just a few days ago found out that he was getting death threats for having that, and now I look and see that the whole company, he had to close the whole company down because the algorithms were basically just destroyed their sales, and it's not funny at all. I'm not sure why I suppose I'm smiling. I'm laughing to just kind of ease some of the tension of the ridiculousness that some of these inventors and people like myself supporting them have to go through to try to get this information out there. So I've definitely backed off in the last couple days. I was getting ready to do some work, which I might still do in the future, but I just, you know, there's just only so much that I can take of that kind of thing. It's intense, you know. I'm sure you can understand why. But I actually kind of, because this garage space is going to be a workshop for the tensor rings starting in the next couple of weeks, I couldn't help but think to myself, oh, maybe if Ken had to shut the company down, and it's like, well, maybe we could build them here or something. I don't know, you know? It's sort of like I have a hard time, I really like to think that I'm resilient and strong enough to do this sort of thing regardless of any kind of intimidation or threats or fears, and I have definitely not faced anything to the degree like death threats, but it's, you know, I just want to keep going as much as I can. So I've kind of pulled back and shifting, but yet there's just a part of me that's like, okay, well, but let's do this, let's try this. And so anyway, so this is amazing. Be wonderful if it could still be made and produced and people could buy them. I sleep with this every night. People coming to the house really typically do get a good night's sleep, and I like to have, you know, guests get to try this in their room. And yeah, maybe the next step is to make a whole home energy generator myself. And, you know, really, they can only, we're our own, you know, it's like if we just believe that we can do things, then we can do them, right? So we don't need fear and intimidation to stop us, really. For me, it's been more of, you know, just kind of pulling back to reorganize and shed some behaviors of my own and things in my life that have been keeping me in fear, to where something like that might still be intimidating. So this is I'm sort of pulling back, but letting go of certain attachments that I just really can't sustain anymore. It's just prepares me to just come out stronger and ready to go. So I did also want to read another work from Robert Haralick's book, God Consciousness, that he recommended to me, and he is doing water research, and it's, you know, this is just really, there's a lot of incredible discoveries being made right now in relation to things like water, which I mentioned Beta Austin's work in another video, and it's really just revealing the magic all around us, and just, you know, when these scientists, or just Beta Austin showing the water that's frozen with the image, and you see the image so clear, or she plays the music and you see the water freezes in images that directly correlate with the song. It's just incredibly powerful work. So, God Consciousness. So the winds, western winds, Malchut. Western winds are brisk, but their bite is only surface deep. There is a difference between my inner, or spiritual state of being, and the personality or character of the individual I choose to be. What this character does and how this character feels in each circumstance is under my control. Okay, so occasionally I forget to delete enough previous videos and then my storage runs out mid-video, so I decided to delete some more videos, but I guess because I've been making a lot of content lately. And anyway, so the winds. Western winds, malchut. Western winds are brisk, but their bite is only surface deep. There is a difference between my inner or spiritual state of being and the personality or character of the individual I choose to be. What this character does and how this character feels in each circumstance is under my control. I create and control the character by how I define the character to be, and by the goals I set the character to pursue. Whatever kind of life the transitory character pursues, there are no guarantees of success. Whatever happens, the character is bound and confined to feel the feelings consistent with its own essence. When the character encounters situations in which the character cannot succeed in being and fulfilling itself, in which the character cannot successfully pursue its goals, the character becomes irritated, anxious, depressed, and a sick, puking feeling engulfs the character. The western winds create turmoil, for the character's essence is threatened. So I just, opened to this page, and this is just the second time I'm reading it because I had run out of storage and just kept going. But I just opened to this page and it just happened to align with exactly what I was talking about before. So I just find that really interesting synchronicity. Each time it seems to line up with what I've already been discussing. But I take this poem to mean that, or to reference the fact that the Western world has sort of become something to, well, let me just say it this way. He talks about the sick feeling, in the stomach, and because that's where the sacral chakra is located, and this is our creative force. When I was little, and I didn't want to go to school, but it's like, oh, you have to go to school. It's like, oh, I don't feel good, I feel sick. It's like, well, you have to go, right? And I think for years I've been living with this. I've had a lot of gut issues that I've had to work through in the past, and now that I'm fully coming into my own creative force, it's like my gut feels great, right? So when we get to be who we are authentically and express ourselves as this beautiful, unique being of light, essentially, that we are, and then this is the character, and the character wants to do things and succeed. And so I feel like it's a reference to certain forces of maybe the Western world or Western society that are trying to mold and conform people according to the structure and inputs and outputs, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and people like, if we get to just be our authentic self, then we can create from a very pure place of where we as the character get to enjoy the creation in the moment. And when we create according to our heart's desires, and it's pure and authentic, and it's unadulterated, it's just the pure essence of who we are, others around us can feel that and see that, and that's intriguing and unique to them and exciting. It's like, wow, look at what you created. Wow, that's amazing. And art's a really great way to do that. But so anyway, I'm going to continue and stitch together a video that I made just before this that shows the Plasmoid Unification Model, the quadrants, and I read a passage. So I suppose I'm going to stitch that in. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you all. But this is, again, the celebration of the 100th subscriber. Thank you all. And I'm just grateful to be able to make these videos. And I've been looking at, ways to earn income to support myself, but whenever I consider getting some kind of 9-to-5 job again, it's just like, there's a part of me that just really has a hard time going back to that kind of lifestyle, and so I'm gonna keep doing this as much as I can. And I did put information about how you can donate to support this, and as I mentioned in the description, the funds will go to things like electricity and water, and that is just the reality of where I'm at right now, because I really care about doing this sort of thing. But again, hoping to have this artist in residence program starting soon, and that is going to help connect to the community, and people can again come here and learn and grow, and we can share experiences together. It's been somewhat of a solitary experience. I've had friends or people that needed a place to stay. You know, there's been definitely a few handfuls of people that have come through and been able to connect with this space on their journey, you know, as sort of just passing through, transitional. And I just want this space and these activities, because this activity that I'm doing is sort of encapsulated in the larger project. So I'm just really recommitting, and I guess there is one other thing that I did want to tell you all, and that is how I've had this dream for so long, and I've been realizing it lately. I said, wait a minute, I think I kept envisioning having a place where we were growing food, and there's all these other activities that I see associated, you know, see happening here and that are part of the vision, but I sort of like reminded myself, you know, going through some sort of emotional challenges, and when I was like, wait, look what you got here, look what you did, look what you created, and then remembering all these years where I was envisioning this. And it's sort of like we can look back and kind of remember visions that we had of the future, and then it just feels helpful for me to acknowledge that I'm actually like at this point that I had envisioned in the past. And this ties into that many worlds interpretation that I've talked to you all about a lot. That was me steering my ship, orienting my compass to where I gotta get here. I gotta get it, you know, it was sort of like I didn't know the how and what, and that's again, by orienting the compass, we you know, it's just sort of saying, yeah, I want to do that someday. And then it's almost like I forgot, and then I was like, oh, that's right. This has been a dream of mine for maybe 20 years. I've been seeing this place in my mind's eye, and it was always like, someday I'll grow food, someday I'll do my art, someday this, someday I'll sing, someday this. And so I'm doing it, and it is in large part for you all. Although I do get a lot personally from making these videos, it's become a certain type of therapeutic experience for me. And I almost didn't make this tonight, but I said, no, gotta catch it while that is still at the 100th subscriber mark. So I guess I'll just pause this video for a minute and then integrate the next one. Okay, so let's look at the Plasmoid Unification Model a little bit more. I just want to go through the 4 quadrants again of this. So we have ether here, light energy, and this is 6.6666 going on infinitely. And ether is direct current energy at rest. Just picturing the ether, the quantum foam, the 0 point, this one single consciousness existing in just the state of ether. Which is light or energy. So, and then we're going to the sun, 5D, which 5.555 infinitely. So this is an ether to matter converter. The sun is an ether to matter converter. How cool is that? And that would, I would think, apply to any star in any galaxy, or any star anywhere. I guess they're all in galaxies, aren't they? So now here we have time, 4D, 4.444 infinitely, and then this being time is the mold in which matter is formed. So we've got the ether, direct current, we've got the sun, the ether to matter converter, and then time being the mold that that ether is flowing through to convert to matter. And then we have down here, we have matter being 3D, 3.3333, infinitely. And matter is alternating current, AC, energy in motion. So I find it intriguing how Malcolm is bringing in this AC and DC that we're typically used to only thinking of, electricity and whatnot, or batteries. How do we power our devices and whatnot? But I find that really intriguing as the way he's saying ether is like DC direct current, and then matter being AC energy in motion, and time being the mold, and sun converting the ether to matter through this mold of time. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because it really, as I work through this material, like bit by bit, piece by piece, trying to make these manageable chunks, both for myself and for you all at the same time. It's the journey that we're taking. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, if you want a custom Merkaba painting, let me know. I would say I would do it for $333 donation, and that donation would get you a work of art, but you would also be supporting this. And so I love you all so much, and I hope that your days are filled with harmony and peace and bliss, and may you all have the ability to tap into who you are authentically as a human and feel the joy of that expression, of that authentic pixel of consciousness expressing itself in the human form, but knowing that that pixel itself is sacred, and that this human form is the vessel for it, but it's like merely an expression of that pure authentic beingness that you are in your heart. So thank you for being your authentic self. Thank you for joining me. I'm gonna go stitch these videos together. And I noticed myself doing this lately, and I'm like, what is that? And then I remembered my grandfather, he would do something, it was like this. And I saw myself doing this, and like, oh yeah, it's just like, he would walk into a room, and it was just sort of like, maybe it's a sports thing, I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for being here, and love you so much, and take care.